So it's not really until I came to Bible college that I heard about missions for the first time. And that was only in Cuba, the Mileys, and Miss Barnard in India. I began to see that there were lost people over there, and it was our responsibility from that moment on. It was nothing except to the regions beyond. And so it's very clear to Laverne that he was supposed to be that medical help. So God channeled his call from that moment to medicine.
When I was 10, I went to the field with my mom and dad, Laverne and Lorene Miley, and during the years that I was there, I grew to love the people, of course, and I would go and help my dad in the hospital, and I loved that. And so I thought, when I go to college, I'm going to train to be a nurse, and I'm going to come back and work with my dad in the hospital.
I was at summer camp, and we were fortunate to have Mom Willie, and she didn't speak about Africa or anything. She talked about doing God's will, and I really surrendered at that point. And I had never been to Africa. I really didn't know a whole lot about it, but I was absolutely sure that that's what God had called me to do.
Once you feel that God is leading you to do something, you don't look back and question, because you're walking in obedience. We don't always understand. We don't have to.
You know, we were talking recently, if you could go back to a certain period of your life, what would you want to go to? And we said those first 10 years in Africa.
We just saw the Lord's hand in so many ways. I think when you live on the devil's turf, because you saw his activity all around you. I mean, we were living with the language, with everything, what they were worshiping, idols, fetishes, but basically the devil. And so you are all the time in this darkness, and over we could see God's power at hand.
If one song would characterize it as Jesus led me all the way. The happiest, most useful, most blessed life in all the world is the life that's lived for Jesus Christ. He yearns, he pleads to give us that happy, useful life. But we have to take it. We have to be willing to give up ourselves, give up our desires, and let him control us. So, God has a plan for everybody.
During the war, once our missionaries left, basically in 2002, over the next 10 years that we would call the period of the war, the number of churches in Ivory Coast doubled under national leadership. I said, it wasn't us. God used them, but you just say, if we'd not had that Bible Institute, if we'd not trained them, what would have happened to our churches during that period of time? God's very gracious and kind to us, but Africa is always home. Africa will always be home.